All right, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us for the Faces of Business. And with me today, I've got Don Williams. And I'm sorry, Don, I caught you right in the middle of getting a drink of water for getting going here, but thanks for being with us today.
I'm sorry, my face was thirsty and I needed a drink to get started. I apologize, and next time I'll just stay dry. I promise.
No, that's quite all right because you're going to see me drinking a lot of water while we do this because it's we usually have fun and it when you're talking, you need some water to keep it going. So, well, I'm really excited to have you here today, Don, because as many people may know, Don Williams Global, what you do now to help people really wow their customers and as you say, romance the customer is something I think is A, needed in the world, but B, really cool. And to hear your story about how you built other businesses and how you've been able to now follow your passion, showing others how to do this and how to drive sales, like we were just talking before we got on here.
Like the thing about driving sales is so I think like college football or the Kansas City Chiefs. So, their main strategy is score, 50 or 60 points. And we'll play some defense and special teams too. And I'm not knocking them. They have a great defense and great special team, but really their strategy is let's just outscore. And if you apply that to business, that just means, hey, let's go sell more. And I would argue that if your sales are healthy and growing, that takes care of about half the problems in a business. And then with healthy and growing sales, you can afford to fix everything else.
Yep.
It's hard to fix everything when your pockets are empty. So,
for sure.
So I love to work on the sales side. I know the other stuff, but I generally enlist a partner on that. I want to work on the sales side.
That's for sure. And sales solves problems. That's for sure.
No doubt.
It will create them. It will create them too. I mean, on the other side, it will create them. But when you don't have enough, the sales solve problems. That's for sure. And when you're talking about it, let's first of all, let's start in your background a little bit. I mean, you've been selling for more than a few weeks now, and can you kind of tell us how you figured out that, hey, I like selling stuff. I like helping people find what they need.
Oh, I think you bring up a good point, helping people. So, so I'll start in the beginning. So when I was released from the Mexican jail in Tijuana, no, I don't know. Kidding. So I started out at 19 as a college student, and within the first year, I was the top salesman in the country out of 450 sales reps. And then they did something that worked out really well for them, but it generally doesn't work out well for a company. I was the top sales manager, so best numbers, best sales, and also the kind that promoted other sales managers, which, you got to ask your question, are you really leading if you're not developing other leaders?
Yes.
And I'll argue the answer is no, you're not. But, and so they took the best salesman, and then they promoted me to be a sales manager. And most times that is a bad move.
It is.
You lose a great salesperson, you get a, I'll just say less than great sales manager. Yeah. And, but it worked out for them because within 6 months, I was the top sales manager out of 40 offices and the kind of guy who had the best numbers and the best dollars and promoted other people. And, all my life, really, people have said, man, you're a great salesperson. And I've always kind of deflected that and said, people like to buy from me, and I just let them. I don't think I ever made anybody do anything. I don't think you even can. I think you can make it easy to do something, but you can't really make people do anything. And so, romancing your customers think about the romantic journey. I'm the best husband. I'm the best spouse. I'm the best mate. I'm the best boyfriend. I'm the best partner. Okay. When I'm seeing things from my counterpart's point of view. And I'm the best salesman when I see things from my prospect's point of view. And that takes you back to, stop selling and start helping.
Yeah.
And if what you're selling doesn't help, find something that does help and so go
Yeah.
sell that. Um, so that's kind of the early years after the Tijuana jail.
All right. All right. And I'm sure there were lessons learned there as well, but
Stay out of a
yeah,
Tijuana jail.
yeah,
Lesson
yeah,
number one. Yeah.
yeah, that would be the one. So when you're doing that, what did you really think that you were doing that others weren't doing? Because obviously you were at the top of the class kind of thing in what you were doing. So what did you see that the new salespeople coming in really didn't grasp about the selling process that you were able to either instill in them or that you were doing that they weren't?
So, great question. To me, I used to say I'm a very sincere person. And, sincerity comes from, I think the Greek is two words, sin and Sarah. And it was it was a wax seal put on a vase that certified that it had not been repaired. Okay. And so this dates way, thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, uh, and so I've always been, today I would use the word authentic. I am who I am. I'm not who I'm not. And most people, like me. And I will offer this to the audience. Most people will like the real you.
Yes.
On the other hand, they will not like a facade. They will not like a false you, and they won't even know why. But it's true. They won't. And will everybody? No, everybody won't. And I mean, I tell my clients, until you have a couple of haters, you're not marketing hard enough.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not going to. There's going to be some personality conflicts, but that's okay. You don't need everybody to love you. You don't need everybody to trust you. You don't even need everybody to buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your market, whatever business you're in, you need a little itty bitty sliver of all of the people who buy what you sell to buy from you to provide for you and your family and your business. And so the vast majority of what everybody does is unsuccessful. But you don't have to win every time. You just have
Yeah.
to win, enough. And then, one thing I tell clients is this is, so if you're counting what's your conversion, so I have a consistent stream of qualified leads. And to me, in romancing, that's better date or more dates. I have to have
Mm-hmm.
enough dates. Okay. And then, how you're converting, that's being a better dater. Okay. So once I have a consistent stream of qualified leads or more dates, then I have to become a better dater to where I win more of those. And, so if it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. Let's say you're in an industry and you legitimately have a 2 out of 10 conversion. Okay. Which many companies do not experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's just say you do. You win 2 out of 10 times. If 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 with a little bit of smarts and a lot of heart, we can go from 2 out of 10 to 3 out of 10, that's a 50% lift in revenue. And let me say that again, 50% lift by closing 1 more out of 10. If you do 2 more out of 10, you have doubled your business. And in one of my early businesses, way back, I'm 60 years young, way back in one of my early businesses, I tripled my business in 4 days. I learned one thing in 4 days, that we were doing this much business, and immediately thereafter, we were doing this much business. And you see scaling is a real popular word. And
Yeah. Yeah.
if you search Google, man, I mean, it's a really popular word today. But all scaling is, let me make it real simple. It's just, how do I multiply my sales?
Mm-hmm.
You can figure everything else out. You can get people to help with that. My clients all my clients would say this. We weren't selling the way we wanted to. We hired Don. He is painfully expensive and worth every penny. And so, but then when you have the money, you can go figure everything else out.
Yep.
And even if they're looking for operational help or financial help or whatever, I bring somebody else in because while I can do it, I just don't want to. I
Yeah.
just want to help bring the money.
Yeah.
Okay. Help me, help you. There was a movie about that, a little different. Oh, no, it was about the money too.
It was
Yeah.
about the money.
Help me, help you. And it can be fun and easy. It doesn't have to be hard. And you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night worrying and wondering.
Yeah, because you make it evidently clear with your example there. You don't have to talk to more leads. You just have to if you can convert more leads, you're doing, you can increase your business an awful lot. So one of the things and I'm not good at sales, I'll just say that right now. I'm not that great at sales. If you even just think about why somebody's not buying for you, why you didn't make it easy enough so they could buy from you if they wanted to, and work on that, making it easier to make the decision more clear, of what you want to do. You can do a lot, as you said, triple your business in 4 days because you don't really need more leads. You just need to have more of the people that you're talking to buying from you.
As long as you start out with that consistent stream of qualified leads,
Yes.
then it's all about the better dating. If you don't have the consistent stream, then we need more dates. We need to bump that up. Okay. But all of it falls on one end, the other, or both. Okay. And then I think something people don't realize is this. I don't care if you sell Subway sandwiches or submarines to the United States Navy, your buyer wants it easy, fast, and fun. And so look at your sales process. Is it easy? Is it easy for them? Is it fast? We live in a world where people have no patience.
Yeah.
None at all. Amazon, I ordered a ton of stuff today, and you type in what you want, you hit click, it brings you up about a bazillion choices, but Amazon's smart enough to say, our choice is this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you click it, and a couple days later, it's on your porch.
Yeah.
Now that's easy and that's fast. I don't know if it's fun, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's for sure.
And if you think your number one competition, if you think people aren't comparing the Amazon buying experience to the buying experience of your product or service, you are fooling yourself. That is exactly the standard they're holding you to. And I don't care if you sell something that's consultative and takes a long time,
Yep.
okay, and a service, not a product. I don't care. People are comparing you to the gold standard of easy and fast anyway,
Yeah.
of Amazon. And for some people it is, I would much rather shop personally. I would much rather buy on Amazon than go to one store ever.
Yes.
I just don't want to go. Okay. And so it's fun for me to be able to do. I mean, I ordered 3 cameras, 2 mics, boom stands, outfitting a whole new studio today, thousands of dollars of stuff. Okay. Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. It's all be here Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy peasy. Is your selling process easy peasy? And if it's not, you're costing yourself business.
That is for sure.
It's that simple.
That is for sure. And that's where, when we're talking with, and some of the work we do, we're working with manufacturers to adopt e-commerce techniques into their business, because manufacturers are one of the industry sectors that really got hammered in the last year. And that accelerated the adoption of some of these more digital techniques to get them closer with their customers. And one of the things that they're struggling with is, quite honestly, is that was always a face-to-face thing, right? It's always a face-to-face thing. And what pieces of it can you make fast and easy for them, and still keep the personal interface and the technical interface that you need to do on some of that stuff. But it is interesting how that gold standard is propagating itself absolutely everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
I read someplace the other day that in 1997, and I may have the date wrong, but 1990 something, Jeff Bezos delivered the millionth package personally in 1997. And I think it said it takes 2 hours of any day to deliver 1 million Amazon packages. So
Yes.
they're delivering 12 million packages a day. And, if your sales process, if you have to think about, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to make it happen? You haven't thought it through enough. It needs to be so easy, so simple, so, think about an engine. An engine got to have oil. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be lubricated. It's got to be easy. And, most companies that scale have a sales engine.
Mm-hmm.
They can put their foot on the accelerator and things speed up. Okay. It's in their control, how much business they do. And that's achievable for everybody in every business. I don't care if you're 100% digital or 100% brick and mortar, perfection. I don't know how to be perfect at anything, but I do know how to improve. And, and that's where you win the battle, is just improve.
Mm-hmm. That is for sure. And I think you're right. And I actually think, knowing both of them, I think selling digitally is harder in a lot of instances than it is in person, because in person we can adapt to the other person's personality. We can feel the conversation, change the words that we use based on how it's going, feel the energy in the room. Man, with digital, you have none of that. It just
you've already said your words.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah. So I totally agree. So in my book, Romancing Your Customer, I talk about the communication pyramid and how at the very top of the pyramid, the richest form of communication, okay, is 3.5 feet apart, nose pointed at nose, knees pointed at knees, eyes on, okay, and a conversation. Because what happens there is I'm getting the audio from your voice live, okay. My pause and my inflection is more pronounced there than anywhere. But even more fundamentally than that, my body is and my mind are emitting energy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And your body and mind are emitting energy. And as human animals, our brains are reading everything that's happening and making a million decisions a split second about how I communicate. And so that's the richest form of communication. And for complex and or very high value transactions, I always want to get face to face. Okay. So let's step one rung down. The next rung for richness in communication is what we're doing. We're doing video conferencing. This is StreamYard, I think.
Yep.
Okay. But it could be Zoom or FaceTime or Skype, or it doesn't really matter. But video conferencing, I still get the visual feedback.
Yep.
Okay. I still get a very rich audio experience. I don't get that personal energy. I'm missing that. But that's because so where are you sitting today, Damon?
I'm in my office.
In your office? And your office is in what city?
Washington.
in Washington State.
Yeah.
I'm outside of Fort Worth, Texas. We are a
Mhm.
long ways away.
Yes.
There's some benefit to the digital, but
Yes.
what we lose is we lose that energy. Then you step down from that and you go just to audio. You go just to phone. Okay. And in phone, with verbal communication, I can still emote and you can still receive emotion. Okay. But we lose the energy and we lose the visual part. Okay. And then the worst forms of communication, period, are anything that's in text.
Yeah.
A text, a chat, an
Oh.
email, a letter, a whatever. And here's a good example. Way back when Dirt was new, I had an office in Little Rock, I think. I had a lot of offices, but I think they were in Little Rock. And I knew they were very busy. I'd called the office, nobody answered. That meant they were helping customers, okay, doing what they were supposed to be doing. So back then, this was in the era of fax machines. So some of you kids won't even know what that is, okay? But I took a piece of paper and I wrote "Call Dawn" and I faxed it to the office. About an hour later, the manager, great guy, top producer, he calls me and he's like, "Oh, I know you're upset, and I'm so sorry, but we were so busy." I'm like, "Why would?" And I'm really not a person who gets upset very much. I was like, "Why would you think I was upset?" And he said, "Because I got your fax." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "Well, your fax said call Dawn." And I was like, "Oh, it didn't say that. It said call Dawn."
Yeah.
And so you got to have written communication. You can't do contracts verbally. You can't do them with the shake. I mean, some of my best customers, I've done it with the shake of a hand, but I don't recommend that to most people. And so from the Book of Dawn, Romancing Your Customer, I think the richest form of communication is face to face. Then what we're doing, video conferencing, and the platform is. I'm platform agnostic as far as that goes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then audio, and then all the texts. You got to have them, whether it's a letter or a contract or an SMS text, but they're not very rich.
No, exactly.
And while I can show you a lot of salespeople in America that are not hitting their numbers, and their number one excuse is, "I sent him an email." And I'm like, big rip.
Yeah.
I get 300 legitimate emails a day. Okay. Don't have time to deal with them. You want to sell something? Pick up the phone, give them a call, ask them if you can't get together. Texas is pretty open right now. Some states aren't, but early on during the great stay home of Wuhan, Corona, whatever pandemic, we did an event where we took some high value prospects and we had an Italian wine tasting and we sent flights to their house and did a Zoom call. And, guess what? We won some business. And, maybe what you sell is not priced where you can do that, but I bet you could have Grubhub bring a sub and people will probably sit and talk with you for 30 minutes if you buy lunch.
Yeah.
It's just not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love about watching you, learning from you, is that you understand how those subtle things will make a huge difference in the amount of business you get.
It's easy. People are going to buy from somebody.
Yeah.
They are. They're going to spend all their money in the wealthiest country in the world. Like 50% of the households cannot put their hands on $1,000. This is pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is this. Doesn't mean that they didn't make enough money. It just means they spent it. People like to spend money. Money doesn't really have any value. What I can get for money has value. And whether that's a ski trip or, a Subway sandwich, it doesn't really matter. That's what, is valuable to people. And so since they don't really even like their money, you just need to give them a reason why they should give it to you and own your product or service.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. And literally, psychologically, people need to buy, not just want to buy, not just love to buy, but psychologically need to buy. When you buy something, your brain releases a chemical, it releases some dopamine, and you feel good. Okay. When you pull that credit card out, you write that check, you put that $100 bill on the table, you just feel good. And that's why you have people that are, everybody knows somebody who's a shopaholic, a woman who owns 87 purses of the same brand, or, a guy who has, every golf toy known to man, but they're not owneraholics. You ever met somebody who's an owneraholic? Nah. What do you meet? Shopaholics. They're addicted to the buy. They're not addicted to the own. Okay. Yeah. And everybody has a little bit of that. So if they're going to buy, then I just have to beat my competition. And the good news in that's not that hard. Yeah. Because your competition, if I was going to rate the customer journey map, how easy, fun, and simple they make it for people to buy, and how much they wow their customers ongoing, I'll bet on a scale of 1 to 10, they get about a 4. And so, if you live in the world of wow, I don't know if I have one here on my desk, but so I think the concept of wow starts at 11 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Wow starts at 11 and goes on to infinity. Okay. And if you want to deliver wow experiences to your customers, it's about this simple. Just decide, I want to hear my customers say, wow. And your brain, the reticular activator in your brain, that part of your brain that when you hear or think of something for the first time, all of a sudden it becomes front of mind, and your brain's working on how to make it happen, whether you are or not.
Yep.
It will start doing that, and you'll start looking for ways. How can I make this experience with this customer knock their socks off? And you know what? Most of the time, it doesn't cost any money. It's just, I want to deliver a phenomenal experience where when you are done, you say, wow, I love him, and I want to buy a lot from him, and I want to keep him around. Okay. And I want to introduce him to my friends. Okay. And if he's single, to my girlfriend, and I'm not. Okay. But that kind of experience, and it's not that hard if you decide that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. Because if you can get those people past the point of they're just happy with you to they're ecstatic with what you've helped them buy, or the feeling you've created with them, it's a whole different experience in what they have.
I tell you, you'll see the magic.
Yeah. There you go.
If you deliver experiences to that level, you will see the magic. You'll be like, I don't know why we're selling so much more. We just are. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. And I'm going to knock their socks off. I'm going to be, I think it was Milton Hershey. So Hershey,
yep,
chocolate, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Okay. And I think he said something like this. This is not exact quote. I know too many quotes, or kind of know too many quotes maybe, but something like this: deliver the best quality. That'll be our advertising. Ha!
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Deliver the best quality. That'll be our advertising.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the best quality, is the best advertising.
No doubt. No doubt. I work a lot with what I call scientists, pharmacists, physicians, engineers. I have a long list of engineer clients. Yeah. And so people that are very high IQ, I mean, literally are scientists. Yeah. Okay. But maybe they're a little lower EQ. Their emotional quotient is not as high as their intellectual quotient. And, the thing is, people buy emotionally. They don't buy logically. They don't buy intellectually. And so if I feel good about you, I can buy from you. And then before I do buy, I have to pass it by my brain. And my brain, if it's nonsensical, if it's stupid, my brain will say, veto, you may not buy. But as long as it's not nonsensical, as long as it has a shred of credibility, my brain will say, I don't know, sounds pretty good to me. Okay. Heart, if you like it, I'm okay with it. Okay. And people will buy. And so, whether you need more dates or better dates or both, it's pretty simple. Just get to work on it. Just improve it.
You're right. The equation is simple when you look at it that way.
A lot of people make things way, and I did this for most of my life. I like to think of myself as intelligent and to play all the angles and to play chess, to play 4 or 5 moves out. But at some point, you get the paralysis of analysis.
Yeah.
You're looking at things so hard, you just don't ever do anything. And so failure is actually your friend.
Yeah.
You can't grow. You can't learn. You can't win, if you don't fail. And then the disclaimer there is don't fail huge. Don't bet the farm every day. Okay.
Yeah.
Fail fast, fail often, fail small, and then when you're better at, getting out of your comfort zone and doing things that you're not comfortable, and you see how it works out, you can increase your parlay, you can increase your wager, you can increase what's at risk.
Yeah. Well, and you said something there is fail fast, but don't fail big. And I think that's a lot of newer salespeople. And I did it a lot when I was new. Is you don't go for a decision or don't get to that decision point because you don't want to get the no. You want to keep go, okay, maybe, just talking around it. Well, getting to that decision point with whoever you're talking to, if you've done the right things up to it, there is a natural time when it is time to decide, is this going to be something or not? And a lot of people don't do that in the sales process because they're afraid of the no. And you end up wasting tons of time as salespeople by not just going to the decision point when it's appropriate, and then accepting the decision, because some you win, some you lose. Now we're going to move on. But if I don't ever get to that decision point, you waste a ton of time.
You waste a ton of time, and it's so frustrating. So I can't help it. The romancing book was in my mind, for years and years. At some point, you as the young, and I know romance comes in a lot of flavors. I'm 60 years old and from Kansas, so understand my point of view. Okay. But at some point, you have to kiss the girl.
Yes.
Or let her go. And in selling, at some point, you have to ask for the sale or just let them go.
Yep.
It's that simple. And, my good friend Nick Kuzmich, #1 Facebook guy in the world, he tells about sex with strangers. And he said, so many people in digital, they don't do anything to invest in the relationship. And so literally it's like they're asking to have sex with strangers. And then they're shocked that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if you stop selling and you start helping, you'll learn what people need. You'll learn how your product or service can benefit them. You'll be able to accurately elocute how your product will benefit them. And then you just have to win the economic argument. Okay. Because there's going to be money involved. Okay. Yep. I mean, I'm kissing you or you're letting me go. That's the deal. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you won't win every time, but you don't have to win. Remember what we talked about. You don't have to win every time. You just have to win when you need to win. And if you sell financial services in the state of Washington, there's probably 10 million households that are prospects for what you do. You don't have to make 10 million sales. You don't have to make 1,000,000 sales. You don't have to make 100,000. You don't even have to make 10,000. You need 100 quality clients. And so it's just, the world is a big place.
It is.
Okay. If you're Apple or Microsoft, they roughly own 50% of the market each of a big market. Bill Gates' vision was a personal computer in every home. They never wavered from that. And in most of the developed world, that vision has come to fruition. Now, they're not all Microsoft computers. Half of them are Apple. Okay. But doesn't matter. Okay. That was his vision. He wasn't successful. He didn't get a Microsoft computer in every house. You don't have to be. You don't have to hit that goal. Okay. The goal he hit, he set aside $1 bazillion for charity.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not a bazillion, but it's been a long time since I read the number, a huge number.
It's a lot of millions. It's a lot of millions.
Yeah. And so, billions really.
Yeah,
and so, yeah, I mean, bigger than the gross domestic product of most countries on the planet.
Yes.
And he only got about half of his goal.
Yeah.
So you can feel sorry for him. Send Bill $1. Tell Bill, Don said send you $1 because you only got about half your goal.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Poor Bill.
Yeah, but you're right though. When you talk about it, and people do, it's like, don't ever live or die on the one deal that you win or lose. It's making sure that you understand that I've got this many opportunities, and if I continue to improve the way that I'm selling and making it easier and faster and more fun, you will eventually get to that win rate that gets you to where you need to be if you've got the right amount of right amount of opportunities for dates, as you said. And it is a game like that. And I still, the thing that's really amazed me, because I've got a bit of gray hair as well, and I remember the days when we were still, it was phone book selling in some of the places, or the people that you knew, or when I was selling manufacturing kind of things, it was in what the heck was it? It was a manufacturer's guide or something that we would go through, and you'd actually look to see manufacturers, right? So in the 90s, when I was in the Southeast and we were selling molded products, it was literally that way. And I'm still amazed today that people worry about competition, because there is far more to worry about inside of your business and looking in the mirror in most cases. Now, when you look at Microsoft or somebody like you're talking about that has the vast majority of the market share, maybe a little different, but then there is to the competitor across the street. And people are, that still just blows me away. Well, I don't want to do that because my competitor might see that. And truth be known, your competitor's not even probably thinking about it. Even if they saw it, they were like, oh, that's nice, and walk right down the street and do whatever they're going to do the same day anyway.
They're probably waking up at 2:00 in the morning worrying about their own deal. And so here's the funny thing about marketing. And so I've had clients over the years that they had a great marketing campaign and they were killing it. I'm like, okay, so let's double it. They're like, no, my competition will find out. And I'm like, well, okay, well, think about this a second. We can double, triple, quadruple, quintuple your business, or we can choose to keep it where it's at. They're still going to find out. Might take them a little longer, but they're still going to find out. And every great marketing campaign ever, somebody ripped off. Somebody with more money and more tools said, man, that campaign of Damon is rocking. Okay. and it's copyrighted, so we'll change this and we'll change
Yeah.
that, and we'll do this and we'll do that. And then we got 100 times more money than Damon. And so we will blast the market. Okay. So the lesson there is this: if you got something that works, you have positive ROI, you are making money. Hey, people, listen, there's only 2 reasons for any activity in a business. Only 2. Either it helps bring money in or it keeps money from going out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something that doesn't fall in those 2 pillars, stop it.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole purpose of a business. Is like a shark. A shark does a couple of things. It swims, it eats. That's about it.
Yep.
Okay. A business, okay. And I'm not saying don't bring your heart. Okay. I wrote the romancing book. I'm a believer in heart. But 2 things: bring dollars in, keep dollars from leaving. That's it. If it doesn't fit under one of those 2, stop doing it.
Yeah. That is succinct and they are wise words. That's for sure.
They won't
Because
teach you that at Harvard Business School, but they should.
they should. That's for sure. And like we said, we were talking about it a while ago here is that I think that if you do help your people in the business focus on that and really understand it's that simple. It's that simple. It doesn't matter if I'm the truck driver, I'm the executive VP, or if I'm the person that's doing the janitorial work in the business. You all can do things that help those 2 things that make the company better.
Everybody's on the sales team. Everybody's on the service team. It's all about customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the customer all the time.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So the man that teaches people how to wow their customer, what are the top couple things that you've ever seen someone do to wow their customer?
Here's number 1. Here's the number 1 failing I see. Okay. So if I want something from your business, and so I call you, I do a form submission, I do a live chat. If I want something from your business, maybe it's just an answer to a question, but if I want that, here's the question: when do I want it? Well, the answer is I wanted it at least 1 second before I asked you for it, because I had the thought that I wanted it, and then I took an action to go get what I wanted.
Yep.
So here's the number 1 failing I see is that companies, their biz dev team, their customer care team, they follow up on those requests lackadaisically when they get time, when they're done talking to Susie at the desk next door. Okay. And you're like, so let me explain to you the psychology. When I want information about an in-ground swimming pool or a new car or financial planner or sales trainer or anything, most people in America, and I have clients all over the world, but let's just talk about America. Most people in America, they're going to reach out to 2 or 3 or 4 potential outlets for information.
Yep.
You know, the stats say there's 70% odds of which company they'll do the business with. Do you know which company it is?
First one to respond.
The first one they talk to.
Yes.
Not just respond.
Talk
If you
to.
just send an email, see my previous comment about you send an email.
Yeah.
Big rep. Okay. They do 70% of the people do business with the first company they speak words, use your words. So, you know, I'm a grandfather at this point. When my sons were in high school, they're 33 and 25 now, you know, and they would ask a girl for a date and they would do that on text. And I was like, look, I know I'm old as dirt. and I know I can't possibly know anything, but let me just tell you, okay, on the woman thing, I probably know a little more than you do
little
at,
bit.
at 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you really want to do well, pick up the phone, call the girl. Okay. And think about the competition thing. So the competition is sending texts. Here's a guy who would pick up the phone. So apply that to your business. Okay. Answer that response immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Start out with a thank you. Thank you for calling me. How can I serve you? Because it's all about you.
Exactly.
How can I help you? And then shut up and listen to what they have to say. Practice active listening. So active listening is not listening to reply. Active listening is listening to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when I understand what you want, I can best position my product or service and the articulation of that product or service to where it's going to be appealing to you. And it's just so the number one thing is be timely. Okay. And the closer you can get, go back to Amazon. Okay. I bought 3 video cameras, 2 mics, a whole another studio. I have studios, whole another studio set up today. Took me about 2 minutes to find everything, put it in the cart, had to change the ship to address. I don't want it shipped to me, I want it shipped to the location. Okay. About 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it's not that easy, fun, and simple, I suggest you work on getting it to be that easy, fun, and simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So time is number one, and most companies fail horribly at that.
Yeah.
They'll talk with a coworker before they'll talk to a prospect. Should never, ever happen. They'll talk with somebody on the phone and leave somebody in front of them waiting. Should never, ever happen. You do triage. So I can talk to my girlfriend, my teammate, or a prospect. Remember, it's all about the customer. Prospects are pre-customers. Customers are customers. Okay. My girlfriend and my teammate are never going to be customers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pecking order would be prospect, teammate, girlfriend. It is, after all, a business. We're trying to bring money in and keep money from going out. Okay. And so when we wear those glasses, we know what to do.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I giggle when I hear you say bring money in or keep money from going out. And I mean that it's so eloquent and so great to be able to use those words in that fashion, and just to explain what we need to be doing in business. And when you explain the hierarchy of who we should be talking to, you're exactly right, because people, instead of who they should be talking to, like you said, the prospect, the coworker, the girlfriend, they talk to who it's the most comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So do I have time to talk about comfort zone physics?
Yeah, let's talk about it real quick.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah, it'd be great.
Comfort zone physics. Here you go. Take your thumbs, put them together. Take your fingers, put them together. This is your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's nice and comfortable in there. That's where my lazy boy is. That's where my favorite truck is. That's where all my stuff is. I like it there, and I'm comfortable. So the problem with it is this: all the good stuff is outside the circle.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay. And here's what I find: when I exit my comfort zone, when I step out of that circle, here's comfort zone physics, people. Your comfort zone grows.
That is for sure.
And then I get out the next time and my comfort zone grows. And then I get out the next time and my comfort zone grows. And at a certain point, you're like, how can I get out of my comfort zone today? How can I do something that scares the hooey out of me today? Okay. And what you'll find, so I think I'm probably going to butcher this. Great piece of philosophy. You're far better, far stronger, and far smarter than you think. Far better, stronger, and smarter than you think. Now, I love that. And I think that's true of all human beings because we all have a little imposter syndrome. We all have a little doubt. Okay. Now, you know who that philosopher was?
No.
Winnie the Pooh.
That's great.
One of my others is Dr. Zeus. Okay.
Yeah.
And so life and business and family can be pretty simple to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying don't, try all the new stuff. I'm just saying if you want to win, concentrate on the important pieces and everything else will take care of itself.
This is true. This is true. Don, that you ended it right there so eloquently that I think this is a great stopping point, and I'm so appreciative to be able to have you come and talk with us here today,
Thank
man.
you.
You dropped a lot of great knowledge, and I hope the people listening enjoyed it half as much as I did, because man, every time I talk to you, I get a kick out of it, first of all, and because of the simple way that you explain complex things that people need to understand, and your attitude towards wowing customers in business and stuff is so refreshing. So if people want to get a hold of you, Don, what's the best way to do that?
Send smoke signals to Fort Worth, Texas, and I'll watch the western sky. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So I met Damon online.
Yes.
And so we're an online initiated relationship, I think on LinkedIn,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
one of the other platforms. I don't know. And so I'm everywhere online, but my website is donwilliamsglobal.com. And that's the easiest way to reach me. My email is really complicated. It's dawn@donwilliamsglobal.com.
There we go.
And I think you should talk to people the way they want to talk. So call me, email me, send me a smoke signal. I'm all about doing it from your point of view and helping you hit your goals. That's what fills my spirit and soul.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much today, Don. And if you hadn't heard, we have Don Williams with us here today on the Faces with Business, and I'm Damon Pistolka from Exit Your Way, and we're just glad to be able to allow Don and us to have this conversation and share it with everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.